All right, so as we come to an end to our first week, and this first week has been pretty fun. We finally had our first red day, right? So FOMC was talking yesterday, and that didn't go so well for the markets. It was a scary. Uh, it was already anticipated to be scary to begin with. So, we had a good conversation, and they all talked about rates going up possibly, and everything just wasn't looking so good. So right here, the Fed prepares to raise rates. Federal Reserve is feeling confident about the state of the economy. According to its own Fed minutes released today, America's central bank is looking to accelerate its plans for interest rate hikes and balance sheet reduction, which really wasn't that much of a surprise, given the rampant discourse about inflation. Right, we've been talking about inflation for the past 3 to 4 months now. The Fed isn't feeling sick though. Maybe that's because employment is strong, hospitalizations have been surprisingly low, and a growing sentiment of who cares about COVID is sweeping the economy. On the other hand, the market is feeling sick to its stomach, right? So this is more like, one versus the other. Like, just because you don't feel it burning doesn't mean you're not actually burning, right? So the Fed doesn't feel sick, but the market is sick, right? Sick to its stomach, sick so bad that if you keep acting like there's no fire, eventually the fire is going to burn things that you won't be able to fix. And that's always going to be something that's scary as long as people keep trying to act ignorant. In other news, we had GM actually be really smart, business-wise speaking, coming back with an amazing EV design to fight Ford taking over GM's title, right? So GM had always been one of the number one in terms of stock, the highest rated company when it came to cars in America. But Ford just took that over early this, just yesterday, I guess, or 2 days ago. So 2 days ago. So to fight that back, GM actually released pictures and more information and actually unveiled their own electric pickup, right? So the Chevy Silverado, which actually I looked at more pictures of it, and I saw a video on YouTube as well. It looks really nice. So now we have these options, right? So Ford with their F-150 became number one, but then GM kind of reclaimed that and released their Chevy Silverado EV, which again is going to be a big deal once it's finally available for purchase. Now, Ford's F-150 was already available for pre-purchase, right? So you could sign up, you could reserve your F-150, you could put down the initial fee for it. GM hasn't gotten to that point yet, but just unveiling it was more than enough, and it was a huge move for GM. And then the other thing that's been happening a lot since I would say like probably since maybe May or June of last year, June 2020, shoplifting. Right, so shoplifting on the rise. Inflation is pummeling the retail sector, but now retailers are hurting for another reason: shoplifting. Big stores like Louis Vuitton, Versace, and all these other places within malls are harassed nonstop. There are some states out there that don't even allow you to do anything while you're being robbed. Okay, so there are literally states out there. I think it was Florida that recently had passed some laws and some rules and regulations saying that if you're being shoplifted, if there's a group of people attacking your shop and taking all your things and they're about to run away, don't do anything. So that's something that, of course, further strengthened these shoplifters. We've seen videos all over TikTok, YouTube, and so on of these shoplifting episodes occurring. Right, Apple stores being attacked. I've seen Coach stores being attacked on YouTube videos, and thankfully, I've never really had to witness any of this myself personally. But that's pretty scary because you never know what these people are equipped with and what they're going to do. And one of the reasons Florida passed such wimpy legislation to kind of allow people to just do it, don't do anything to stop them, is because of that fear. You never know if they're going to have a gun. And if they start shooting in a populated area like a mall or a shopping center, a lot of innocent people can die. So just let them steal whatever they want to steal. The issue is though that whatever gets stolen, there's no insurance on it. So it's not like the store that got a bunch of things stolen is going to get anything back for it. Right? So that always really sucks. Um, in other review for yesterday, we have been really good this week. This first week for the year has been amazing, right? So we've been making good 100% to 200% plays almost every single day. But of course, you have to manage risks, so don't go in like super heavy on every play, right? So for example, this was an amazing play right here where I bought 5 contracts with Ford up 200%. Right? I got in at 12 cents. It reached 36 cents. It actually ended up hitting 42 cents, and that's where I was able to close it off. And then this one is still open, the Nikola play. Right, so I picked up 10 contracts at 10 cents to average down my initial entry. But these 10 contracts that I grabbed at 10 cents are clearly up more than 200%. I was up, sorry, more than 100%, right? I was up 118% for the day for these 10 contracts. And then eventually this got so high that I was even up overall. And right now it's actually sitting at 32 cents. And I'm going to close that out today. Right, it went to 35. I think it's sitting at 37 cents today. Yeah, 37 cents today, and I'm going to close that out today. Right, so this was great because that's why I was saying 200%. On the day, I was up 200%. It did end up going so much that it's beautiful, and you want to make sure you hit these kinds of plays, right? You don't want to overtrade. You don't want to miss things. You don't want to be entering plays that are just not going to go too well. And then, of course, you don't want to go in so heavy that you lose whatever you have, right? So that you don't have anything to work with anymore. So, like here too, see, I have 15 contracts, and the other one I have 5 contracts. Of course, it depends on the price of the contract, but it also depends on how much capital you're working with, right? If you're a 10K account, 20K account, 50K account, how much capital are you working with is what really determines what you can buy, how heavy you should go into contracts, and what kind of plays you should be making. Now, for today's watch list, we're looking at, mainly SPY, in my opinion. Everything fell down, right? So, like Shopify, if you've never done contracts on Shopify, by the way, don't do it. Just watch, paper trade it, okay? Shopify, Amazon, Tesla, these guys have very unpredictable movements that are really only predictable slightly based off of their charting of what is their resistance, what is their support, what are the previous trends they've had. Otherwise, they don't really follow like a cup and handle or anything like that type of pattern. If you're not really aware of those kinds of patterns, then make sure you check out the knowledge center on the bottom left over here on my Discord server. Can't really see it because my face is covering it, but the bottom left over here is the knowledge center. So if I close some of these, then now you can see it. Right, so these segments here have a bunch of rules and information about how to trade. Learning about charting patterns. You see with images, like what you're supposed to look for, how to do your own technical analysis and due diligence, what you're checking for, information about the different types of candles that form. Right, this is why people don't use Robinhood because you can't really see candles that well on it. And I'm going to be adding more to this segment to help people understand different things you're supposed to look for when you're trading. But generally speaking, today, I'm mainly just going to be watching SPY and QQQ because today is like one of those scary recovery days after a bad day yesterday. And Fridays are usually a good day to buy contracts for the bigger companies like Amazon, Shopify, and Tesla because they're usually much cheaper today. Their premiums tend to be way too high on like a Monday and Tuesday. But in our stock chats, I did post this picture right here of SPY. So this is like the general pattern SPY's kind of been following, and this is where we are now. And FOMC talking brought it down big time. So it hit the red line right here, and I picked up calls yesterday. So we're going to be opening up in a minute today, and let's see how that goes. Hopefully, there's a recurve on SPY. So let's see what kind of plays we can make today, and I'll be posting them soon enough. See you in a bit.